Well, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to be having Carlos Maldonado coming on from Aerotek. Aerotek is a tech recruiting recruiter. You'll get a kind of a different view from them as far as the technical industry is concerned. They're here in San Luis Obispo. They have an excellent reputation themselves as far as their particular industry. And I see Carlos is here. Hello, Carlos.
Hey, morning. Sorry, Justin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Hey, good to see you, Carlos.
Doing great. Thank you.
Thank you
for the introduction as well.
Well, that's okay. You guys have such a good reputation. I was thrilled that you guys are going to be here today, and plus specifically because you went ahead and participated in the other fairs and those.
Yeah, we actually just had a job fair on Saturday. It was a drive-through job fair where people could just, through the comfort of their own home or through their own car, just drive by, drop off their resume. So it was COVID friendly. We had little goodies that were given away, and we were just basically collecting information, and then we're going to be redistributing that to the account manager we're working with right now.
Right, great. Well, listen, I've said enough. Why don't you go ahead and just give us an outline about what's going on with Aerotek?
It's a weird one because it's a great.
Yeah, of course. So Aerotek, we're part of a Legis group. So Steve Bisciotti, who's the owner of the Ravens, basically started the company in 1983. Where their focus was initially was in the aerospace industries. Since then, we've branched off into multiple industries. So our division, Aerotek, we focus here on light industrial skilled trade positions. Our territory here, our team focuses between Paso Robles, Oviedo, Carpinteria. My account manager, Rick Garcia, has been in the role for about 5 years. And then my recruiting partner, Corey McElliott, has been a recruiter for 2+ years. So I'm newer to the role. I've been with the company for less than 6 months, but I've come from a staffing background. I used to work at Robert Half prior to this, but due to COVID, they had massive layoffs, and I was part of that. So luckily, I was able to find this position because I have a friend who works in our Los Angeles division. And so I was able to get a job right away, but I really do enjoy my time working here at Aerotek. I think what really helps us stand out is that we take our time to really get to know our candidates beyond the resume. So on top of meeting with them on the phone and getting to know them, we meet with them virtually via Zoom, ideally in person. But now with COVID, we have been doing a lot more Zoom and WebEx video conferencing. On top of that, the services we offer, like we do like free resume assistance. So even if you have like an incomplete resume, we can kind of help you, walk you through like what employers are looking for. Basically, it's a lot of coaching before the first initial interview. So another thing we also do is interview prep. So we give our candidates that we're working with insights in terms of what the hiring managers are looking for, what questions to expect, and we kind of coach them through that process. So we basically will help you the entire process from start to finish, helping you get onboarded with that company. A lot of the positions we're focusing right now are going to be like HVAC techs. We're looking for maintenance facility technicians, assemblers, electrical and mechanical, general labor. Let's see what else. Custodial roles. So any kind of blue collar job you can imagine, we basically have our foot in the door and can help you with your next career.
How about tech, Carlos?
Well, that would be with our engineering division. I do have my recruiting partner Corey that can kind of go more in depth with that. Corey, do you have a chat? Here you go. It's connected to the computer, so you just use this. Perfect. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. So within Aerotek, we actually have various divisions that focus in different skill sets. So for instance, myself and Carlos do focus a lot within industrial skill sets, like he mentioned, anything that's blue collar related within a manufacturing setting or even some typical industries.
Engineering and
But we do also have an engineering division that's going to be a part of another sister company that focuses on a variety of various different engineers. So this could be mechanical engineers, design engineers. I've seen civil engineers that we do within construction trade. And then also one of the more popular ones is quality engineers. We do partner with a few of the aerospace companies in the area as well. There's various contracts that we work with in Goleta and Lompoc as well, and also in San Luis Obispo area. And then we also have another division that focuses solely on professional services. This can be anything within the accounting realm, customer service, data entry positions. And then we also have another one that focuses within healthcare. So this could actually include phlebotomists, RNs, CNAs. It's a pretty widespread with the companies that the types of positions and companies that we work with.
Well, that was one reason why I wanted to have Aerotek on, is simply because I was aware of those divisions and those kinds of things. And the veterans that we see come through here have skill sets that are across the board. Either engineering, or it could be construction, it could be the industrial side and those kinds of things. And one thing about Aerotek is they're very diverse. And I think that a veteran coming out of the service, or even a long-term career person coming out of the service with certain skill sets and that kind of thing, I think Aerotek could be a really valuable resource for them. The reputation of Aerotek is very good, and I think in San Luis Obispo County it's needed. There's not a lot of corporate headquarters here, not a lot of things along those lines, but tech, construction, the hospitality industry, some of the professional aspect, they are here. And that's why I think anybody who comes to Aerotek would benefit from them. What are you looking for in a specific candidate? I mean, how should a candidate prepare for Aerotek?
Honestly, one of the biggest aspects of my company is that we focus a lot within the quality of candidates. So those that come to us, we ask for commitment and communication as far as intangibles. But some of the tangible things that I would often look for would be an updated resume, references, which I target to have 6, 3 of those being managers, leads, anyone that they've reported to, and 3 of those being coworkers, all of which are leverage points for me. That way that when I'm presenting to any client from my end, I'm able to use as many pieces of evidence to show that they're the right fit for the position. And an eagerness. We're driven in career opportunities. Nothing that I really deal with is short term. Almost everything that I see is long-term contract to hire, direct placement options. I do see long-term contracts occasionally as well. And in that instance, it's important for us to really know what the candidates are looking for as far as that long-term career opportunity.
Well, as far as, Carlos alluded to this a little bit. As far as workforce preparation, where I'm going with this is resumes and getting the candidate prepped and all of those kinds of things. What's the progression with that with Aerotek?
By instance, or are you asking more for like a time frame or deadlines, things like that?
But I mean, how do you take a candidate and kind of guide them through and make sure they're ready for that interview?
Gotcha. So one of the advantages that we have is we do something called a requirement qualification. With each client, whenever we get a new position open, we'll meet with them either virtually or in person and go over strict details and guidelines. So we have a little bit of a guideline that's written out, but oftentimes there's a lot of questions that we'll have to throw into the mix to get a better understanding of the positions. A portion of that would be understanding how that interview process goes. And then also a lot of it does come with experience. Myself being in the role for 2 years, I've seen various interviews. I know the kind of questions that most clients will ask. I went through 5 interviews to get hired. So I've become a bit of an interview expert, but we kind of approach it in 2 separate aspects. One aspect using the experience that we have with behavioral based questions that we would typically see. We also see something called the STAR method. STAR is an acronym that stands for situation, task, action, result. We've utilized that method quite often, and that's something that is continually being updated every year. And then also just knowing the interviews. For instance, there's one particular client that I work with in Goleta that I've sat in on the interviews, and had the advantage to write down every single question that they asked. So now going into interview preparations with the candidate, I can literally ask those questions and see how I can offer some coaching along the lines. Especially with the technical types of driven questions, like oftentimes candidates are very able to speak towards it. They just might need one or two tweaks to really emphasize what it is that their expertise lies in.
Aviation industry, I mean, it's down right now, I mean, across the board nationally, but there are some private companies like ACI Jet, those kinds of things, and those along those lines. Do you work at all with companies such as those? Because I see veterans coming through who are, aircraft mechanics, they're airframe, engineer, all of those kinds of things. Do you get involved with that industry at all?
We do. It's still a little bit in its infancy, to be honest. We have a division that's called aviation that does specialize in anything that's related to the airline industry. So I have seen them work on low-level positions in the past, in which they're doing more general labor work within an airport or within an aerospace type of company. But then I've also seen some of the higher level AV mechanics and technicians that are actually working on aircrafts. I've also seen technician roles within aerospace industries all around. So there's projects I know that have been going on for a while with like SpaceX programs. We work with various companies that do work for those programs. And then similarly, we do see them in the defense industry. One thing I noticed about Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo County, definitely prevalent in Santa Barbara County, we're seeing a lot of contracts that were enacted that were put into place towards the end of last year and now are coming to fruition in 2020. So that being the case, those are long-term 3 to 4 year contracts that they're going to expand off of and grow off of. So yeah, we do see those. Overall, like the actual airline industry in general is still something that we're working through in this territory specifically.
So is Aerotek a federal contractor? Do you also do contract with the federal government for certain kinds of positions and those kinds of things?
No, not often. What we do oftentimes is work with other contractors that are federally contracted. And which some of the times that we do this, there's a lot of stipulations that go into it. One of the reasons that we take a huge advantage in working with veterans is a security clearance. Oftentimes that is incredibly hard to find. So veterans come in with a huge advantage most of the time because we can already get them through a security clearance process itself quicker, or they already have one, which gives them a little bit better chance of being hired with some of these specific companies.
Well, that's an important point because a lot of veterans come in from the military into the civilian workforce, and they may have been in like cybersecurity, or they may have been in another intelligence role or whatever it was, and they have a security clearance. It may be secret, top secret, whatever it is. And then that security clearance, lapses. So does Aerotek have the ability to go ahead and regain a clearance for a candidate that they think is appropriate for a certain position?
It would be on kind of a case-by-case basis. So with positions that I have seen security clearances offered for in the past and where that's a requirement in, what they would do is the company themselves would actually run their own specified clearances, in which typically they'll do an interim clearance to get them to start working, and then they'll go through the actual security clearance process. From what I know, an interim clearance can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to be done, and then about a year long to actually get a full clearance, depending on the level that it is. But a lot of the times with companies that are requiring security clearances or anything similar, they're utilizing their own team to do so, and also using an end around way to have people start and still work, but also go through the entire full clearance. In which case, I don't know the exact expiration date, but that does last for a good amount of time.
To me, that's extremely valuable because I have a woman who was a cybersecurity specialist in the Navy, and she was top secret. And because she's been out, you lose that clearance. So I'll go ahead and relay that information to her because it's something that she wants to stay in, and she speaks 4 languages. So,
Wow.
yeah, it would be, that's really good information for me to give her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And actually, to touch on that, I completely forgot, but we have a new division within Aerotek's engineering that is focused solely on more not cybersecurity, but computer hardware, software engineering. So I have seen coding engineers and people with cybersecurity background that do very well with those, depending on the specifics around their experience.
Great to know.
Do
Absolutely.
you work with schools? I work with the Veteran Center at Cal Poly.
Oh, wow.
I have a lot
Yeah,
of engineering majors, and we haven't worked out a partnership before, so I would love to do that with you.
absolutely. Yeah, I've partnered with UCSB in the past. I've partnered with vocational schools in Ventura County, Santa Barbara County, in just various areas. It depends on a lot of the skill sets. But yeah, I know my engineering team is also looking to build within that area. So there's definitely opportunity that we could partner with a school to find engineers in the area.
Definitely reach out to me. You can reach out to me at military@calpoly.edu. I'm Carrie Leslie. We have great student veterans that would really love to hear your information.
Absolutely. And that was military@calpoly.edu.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You can sign off first too.
Well, wonderful. Okay, that worked. Yeah, as far as Carlos and Corey, I just want to thank you too for coming in today. It's been that kind of information is invaluable as far as I'm concerned to anybody looking at this. As I said to begin with, Aerotek is diverse. You have a great reputation, and I think as far as the services you offer to San Luis Obispo County for veterans are extremely valuable. You have anything you'd like to say about Aerotek before we wrap this up? Want a bit break?
Well, we are still new into Santa Barbara
Yeah, they
and San Luis
reached out to
Obispo
us.
County. At this time,
You wanna talk
I
to them?
really would love to take advantage of networking. So any
They're asking
other
for
types of
engineers.
networking that I can utilize and partner with people on, I would love to take full advantage of, just to find more
It's,
qualified candidates to
it's
work
right
with in the
by,
area.
San Luis
Myself
Obispo
and my
Veterans
partners are working
Affairs.
very hard to
So
build
you can get
into
close
this
to veterans.
territory and learn the lay of the land. So it's important for us to have as many networking opportunities and partnerships as we can.
And that includes veterans organizations too. And
Absolutely.
do our best. We'll do our best to go ahead and we like to welcome you to the collaborative too, and become.
Thank you.
It would be wonderful if you could get your name on the provider list, because I think the networking opportunities there for you would be fantastic. So
Absolutely.
okay, we'll work on
If
that.
you'd like to add yourself to the provider list, also send that to military, and I will make sure you get on that list.
Okay. Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you, Aerotek. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Corey. We real nice to see you, man. And keep up the good work over there. And we will look forward to working with you in the future. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys. And thanks for having us.
Thank you.